I'm really excited. Joining me today are my friends, Cheryl and Debbie from Fuzion and Clear Jelly Stamper.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
I was just adding up how many years of experience the three of us have in the nail business. It's 92 years. That's pretty incredible. We thought we'd get together and chat about the nail business. So grab a coffee and join us. So we thought we'd get together, and we've got a lot of stuff in the industry to talk about. I see lots of comments on Facebook and Instagram, and one of those topics is being a mom in the business. How do you juggle doing nails and being mom and creating a business and building your clientele? Now, I know you're both moms. We're all moms, and I think a lot of nail technicians are moms because most of us are women, and a lot of us are moms. And how do you guys find juggling that?
It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It can be.
It can be a lot.
Yeah, now you have one child?
I have one.
And you have three.
I have three.
I have two.
I have two man-childs and then
Yes.
child-child.
Of course.
Yeah.
So like, do you ever work at home?
I did.
Yeah.
I worked at home for years.
Did you have a sitter coming in to take care of her?
No. I didn't work from home until my daughter was actually in school, which is why I did it. It worked out really well because she could come home and I was there.
Yeah.
And she could be in her own space and do her own thing. Mom was there. I wasn't always completely available.
Yes.
But I was there.
So how did you hand that when you're in the middle of doing a client and she would walk in the room and Mom and have a little meltdown? What would you do?
Honestly, I had amazing customers who loved her and thought it was wonderful, the situation that we had created working there. So they were actually pretty flexible and respectful about that.
I think that's what a lot of people don't know. Like I did the same thing.
Yeah.
So when I worked at home I did it for 17 years.
Yeah.
And the kids were from, I think, 4, because my husband was home at that one time when the kids were really little, so I was able to work in a salon, and he would come and pick me up and stuff, and he would take care of the kids.
Right.
But then I decided to quit that and come home and start working because I didn't know what that would be like.
Yeah.
But once I did it, my goodness, I wish I had done it sooner.
Yeah.
So I think if you're working at home and doing nails, you don't maybe know, you're comparing it to that professional studio. And I was really kind of didn't want to get rid of that professional salon because I thought clients might not accept it. But most of the people you're doing are moms.
Yeah.
It's
So
true.
they totally get it. So if you're sitting there doing nails and the kid walks in and they're having a meltdown, yeah, they get it when you're like, excuse me for a sec, and you just go and help the kid. And I felt guilty at that first, but then I thought, it's no different than when I'm at the salon and some rep comes in and you get up for a minute, or
And
a
you're
client comes.
interrupted.
Yeah, and if you don't have a receptionist, you're getting up. So it's no different than that in a kid. And who doesn't understand more than another mom? And I built my clientele at home because I had to leave. I was about an hour away at that point from my old salon in town, and then I had it in my house. I was almost an hour away, and I had to build a whole new clientele. And I did that in less than 6 months. Just boom, and clients were easy to get.
Yeah.
Because how often do you have a good tech in your neighborhood?
And you can still have a professional setup.
Yeah.
Is that what you were going to say?
Yes.
Yeah, I was also going to say they also can bring their kids sometimes then too, which
Yes.
can be a
Too.
double-edged sword.
Huge advantage.
I actually
Yeah.
did have one time, I had a client whose daughter was a klepto. None of us knew about it, and she was off watching TV and while I was doing her nails.
She's
and
so
she was
quiet.
playing with my son, and this was when Daniel was little and everything was fine. And about third appointment in, she comes to me to come into her appointment, and she's got this big bag full of stuff. And I'm thinking, I did notice some things were missing.
Oh, no.
Literally, she had found an entire stash of my stuff in her daughter's room. Wow. So you just got to watch. Make sure they're not kleptos.
That's kind of adorable.
It was really cute.
I love that
I
story.
never ever
Yeah.
encouraged my clients, kids, though, to just kind of wander the house.
No, I
I
kept
kept them-
wouldn't have done
yeah,
that
I
either.
kept them close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that brings up another point. When I was working at home, my husband was working in town at the time, and then I was working at home with little kids. And all the mums coming to me, or all the people in that area, were mums. A mum of the school. I was involved in the school, so everybody knew everybody. Then I had this one young girl phone and say, "Can I book a nail appointment?" And I was like, "Oh yeah," but I didn't really know anybody that knew her. So when she came, she brought her boyfriend, which was fine. They were a lovely couple.
She was coming to a new place too.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
I could be some kind of weirdo. And
Yeah.
so anyway, I escorted her downstairs. We went and did the nails. And then the boyfriend says, "Oh, babe, I can't stand the smell," which is very common for men. They want to leave all the time. So then he left, but he left through my house. So here's my house. I'm down here working. My kids are up here watching TV. He has to go through the house and go out the front door.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's upstairs drinking my milk or kicking the cat. I don't know what he's doing up there.
Better not be.
I mean, he was really sweet, so I'm sure he wasn't. But
Yeah.
you don't really know, so it's a little bit uncomfortable sometimes. So when you're home, you got to be a little careful of that. So from now on, I just made it, maybe just don't bring any friends, or if you want to go there, you can do that.
I was very fortunate. My husband, at the time, he was a hairstylist.
Right.
And worked from home also.
Oh.
So we had basically our upper loft that looked over our front door, and our living room was our little salon.
Oh my goodness. So that's fantastic.
Well, it was kind of ideal because I was never alone with a customer, and neither was he.
Yeah.
So it worked out well.
Yeah.
But
And that worked out for me years later because my husband closed his business that he had downtown and started working at home. So he was home all the time. So then it didn't matter. I could have anybody over. But you could just got to be careful with those kinds of things.
So there's the avenue of working at home, but then there's also when you have to be out in the salon. So with Daniel, my oldest. That was good.
he was youngest then.
He was youngest then. With Daniel, I was at home, but with Matthew and Claire, I've been working, of course, right, building my business and everything else. So the other thing I've just found is having really supportive, like other mom friends that are working or even not working, but maybe want their nails done. That will help you pick up your kids and transfer them all over the place. So.
And which brings back to, it does take a village.
It does.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does.
So I have to say, from my experience, to wrap that segment up, I would have to say I love running a salon. I love the tickety-boo and the fancy flowers and the sweet receptionist. I love that. But the time that I worked at home and letting all of that go, because when you find yourself pregnant with baby, you got to make those decisions. Yeah. When I let that go, the salon go, working at home was one of the best years of my life.
Yeah.
It was no overhead, and I could raise these kids and be there for them all the time for everything that they needed.
That's
all
what
the
I
time.
enjoyed too.
Yeah.
Sure.
I loved it.
For sure, it was amazing.
Yeah. Okay, next topic. So I love this one. Photoshop. How much is too much? Yeah. It's a hot topic. And I think it always has been. Right now, there's a lot of talk about it on social media. Yeah. So how do you guys feel about that? can I boldly ask you, do you Photoshop your stuff?
Sometimes,
yeah.
For sure. Especially, I find if I've taken a photograph and somebody's got a hangnail or they've got a cut on their hand. Yeah. And I almost look at that as doing them a favor before I post it.
Yeah.
I don't want a picture of my hands on the internet with a big gash on them.
Yeah. How many models on magazines do you see with beautiful, and do you think if she had a zit, they're not going to airbrush it out?
Absolutely.
But the taboo is this. Now, I Photoshop too. My photos are beautiful. I'm going to say I think they're stunning. My cameraman does a beautiful job Photoshopping them. But we don't Photoshop the nails.
No.
I got to do that. On the nail in real life, that's what I do. That's organic. Yeah. Anything we Photoshop, and he doesn't really do. Well, I'm 55 years old. My hands don't look like a 20, 30-year-old hand.
Right.
So he leaves a lot of the wrinkles, but he smooths the skin a little bit so that
I barely do anything. I just
okay.
Some of the shadows.
Oh, then maybe my hand looks better than I thought. I thought you did more at it.
I also will take out dust if I.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
Some dust flecks on the skin.
You know what? On the nails. That's what I do.
Yes.
And I mean, what we do, there's dust everywhere.
Yes.
That's just the way it is. But do I want dust on a beautiful photograph that I've taken that I want to post?
Which brings a point, I have to say. There is a difference between the photo that you take right after you've done a set of nails for the client and a photo that you're taking for a magazine cover.
100%.
We don't have time at the end of a nail client to make sure that everything looks perfect. We're snapping the photo, putting maybe a filter on it, and then if we do see dust, we have to Photoshop it out. But this is not magazine quality.
Right.
We just need to try to get a beautiful photo to make our nails, to remember that beautiful set that we just did. It's not for a magazine cover where a magazine cover is so particular. It's also photographed super close with a really sharp lens, which is what I do at the end of my every video that we do. Right. So we do Photoshop, but I really do liken it to, but again, I do have to emphasize, we don't Photoshop the nails. Now, if there's a cat hair hanging off the end, cameraman will take that off.
Of course.
Cat hair needs to go.
Yes, and there are moments that some people, I'll look at the nails and go, oh, well, those cuticles, you're photographing so close. I mean, my cuticle's not that good, but we leave it.
Yeah.
And that one lady I bumped into in one of the shows on the floor, she goes, "Oh my God, Suzie, I love you. I love looking at your photos and stuff. I'm so happy to see that your cuticles aren't perfect, but you don't care." I thought, oh, I do care actually. I just forgot to edit that one out. But so she was kind of telling me, it was a little hurtful, but it also showed me that she's right. We can't make
People
it
like
look
it to be real and attainable. And
Yeah.
attainable.
And that's the thing I find with what I share on my social media with my company is that I try to have a really good balance, right? So sometimes I've had other people say to me, "Why did you share that photo?" I'm like, because the nails were beautiful. Yes, the hands were kind of old and wrinkly, and I don't take the time to edit it. I figure, hey,
right.
if you
Well,
posted
and maybe the
look at
nails,
the color, it was
and maybe the
gorgeous.
nails weren't perfect, but
Yeah.
the design was gorgeous.
Exactly.
Because I get the same thing on my
and
social
real.
media that, oh, those nails looked really unprofessional. Yeah, but did you look at the composition of the artwork that the
Right.
creation
Yes.
with the stamping was beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what's important.
Yeah.
I totally agree. So I think with the Photoshop, we're 80s girls.
Oh,
So
yeah.
in the
Big
80s,
time.
how much did we listen to? Well, everything we saw was airbrushed, right?
And models' legs were stretched.
And we all were trying to grow up to achieve that. We didn't know until I think the 90s that they were, trimming off and listing this and, smoothing this.
Yeah.
So as we learned that, so we're doing it to nails now. And obviously the controversy has come up with the nails again as we saw our magazine covers. But, to get that beautiful natural nude look, that girl spent 3 hours in the makeup chair.
Makeup chair.
Well, or
And
6
they
hours
also-
in the nail chair.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they also photoshopped it after.
Yeah.
So to try to achieve that on a daily, turning over clients every hour for every client to walk out looking like, Angelina Jolie or whoever the top model is right now, that's
Right.
not going to happen.
Well, and if you show up to your nail appointment with a photograph that you're saying to your nail tech, "I want these,"
Yeah.
and she goes,
Go.
Or
"That's what I did." Oh boy.
no.
But
That's gonna
it's-
take 12
it's-
hours.
Right. It's because it's actually not salon nails.
Yes.
Those are magazine nails.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
Yeah.
So what's the frustration of some people posting stuff then? Is it the customers are actually frustrated because they can't get what they want out of the tech, or the techs being so having to live up to this photo? So what's more of the pain? Where's the pain coming from?
I think it's living up to the photo.
I think so too.
Right.
Just like in the 80s, living up to the photo of the model whose
Right.
legs she looks like a spider because they're 14 times longer than
So
they're supposed
I
to
guess
be.
that falls on us then to educate the client. So when
Exactly.
they bring in that photo that we know that the artist spent, we may even know the artist. I know artists that spend hours and hours and hours to achieve it, and it is absolutely the most stunning work.
Flawless.
Yeah.
Flawless. But it takes 6 hours. Would you all want to sit 6 hours in the chair to wait
Yeah.
to get that
Well,
done?
and then pay for those hours.
And then pay for that?
Exactly.
Because we're going to charge you about $600.
Yeah. Oh, see, I was lowballing at 5.
Ah,
Susie's like
right,
6.
yeah. No, I'm
Yeah.
going for the 6.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's very fascinating. Okay, good combo. Next topic. So whenever I get together with a bunch of nail techs, whether it's just a casual dinner or even a class, it always comes down to a discussion about confidence. This is huge. I find them talking about at all levels. Even if you're at the top, the confidence it's for all of us.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about that?
I think it's a huge issue with confidence. We see it with our beginner students. We see it with our, intermediate people. We see it with our educators, where again, we're looking at these perfect images and thinking, this is how we have to be. This is who we have to be, right? And if I can't produce that, how can I say that I'm an expert or an educator, right? And so you look at that and you try to duplicate it. It doesn't matter how many years experience you have, right?
Yeah.
We all have good days and bad.
Yeah.
And it really is something that I find makes a lot of our students quit before they even get to the chance to really explore
So
and
they
become
coming
better.
into the classroom already feeling a
They're
little
coming
bit
in
intimidated
expecting that they can make that by the time they're done a 4-week class.
so their expectations of being able to accomplish.
Right.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, they want to be able to do it now.
now.
Which is
I
so
want to be able to
interesting.
create that now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That took me 30 years.
I was going to say. So that's interesting. So what's really tough about that is that means the student is coming at us like years ago when the students were coming at me like 20 years ago, they knew nothing.
Exactly.
But the students coming at us now, they have a preconceived idea of what. And then if you get people bragging that, oh yeah, I learned how to do this and blah, 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 they're probably trying to measure up.
Yeah.
But that might not be true, when someone's saying that they learned this in 14 hours.
The very basics, right?
Yeah,
and
but
then they're thinking,
you can learn. Actually, you can learn this information very
Yeah,
quickly, but you
absolutely.
can't practice it. You can't do it.
And you can't teach practice.
no.
You have to put in the time to build the skills.
Yeah.
I think speed is something that people try to achieve too quickly.
Yes. Okay.
Which affects their confidence.
I totally agree. And I get sometimes students that are, they're trying to keep up with everybody else in the class. And that's why I try to, when I do my classes, it's very individual, one-on-one, and I separate them in a desk by themselves so that they don't feel like they're having to look over and see what they're doing and feel like they're competing with the other person, because everybody will pick up things so differently. But speed, they're always trying to rush through. And I'll leave that for the end because that's our end thing. But yeah, speed and trying to keep up and the confidence issue is so huge, and it can really break whatever little confidence you might have. And maybe that's what we can transfer that into social media too. It's how confidence is so, I guess we're really being chopped down. We post something. Yeah, the illusion of that's a good one.
Because it is. You have to
Instagram
appear,
confidence.
right? It's like, look at that. It's perfect. But in actuality, it's like, hot mess. Yeah.
Well, even so many times that when you're doing like an Instagram post, I mean, even us the other night when we were out for dinner, the lighting. Oh, remember that lighting shot?
That was fantastic.
I mean, it was funny, and we're confident enough we could have posted it, but that wasn't what we were looking for at the moment. But you're right.
Just take
and
another
it's
picture.
Sad, right?
Make
It's
it
sad
perfect.
that there's so many people that could be so amazing and could have such a great career and could support their kids and stay home and work and do all the things we've been talking about. But because they can't get over the hump of actually seeing that, you know what? When you first start doing nails, they're just not that pretty.
Well, okay.
Right?
My first set of nails, 6 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were shorter than when the woman came in.
Yeah.
And my instructor, she actually did a lot of it.
Yeah.
So it was not good.
Bring somebody who loves you to your first day of nail class.
But if you take a look at
some
where I've
Band-Aids.
come now for nails, for my first set, you'd never know that I would get to this point of being able to craft nails like
People
that.
think it's easy. They're like,
That's
they're
true.
sitting at your
Ladies,
desk.
we make it look easy.
Yeah, right?
That's true. It's like tennis.
Once you're
You
comfortable.
seen somebody play tennis?
Yeah.
It does.
You
It
could
looks
just
easy.
do that. Then you get out there and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't.
I can't serve.
I can't run
And
like
yet
that.
we do make it look easy.
We do. And how many times have we heard that at the demo table or when you're at a show, like, oh, you make that look so easy.
Yeah.
It's like, girl, I fought real hard for every pretty nail. I mean, there's that girl that sits down when we teach them and they're like, oh, boo, they make a beautiful nail. I've had those.
Oh, yes.
I've
they
had
exist.
those.
Yes.
But
I've
the
had that.
majority of them, we struggle for every pretty nail we ever
Yeah,
make.
and I have to say, for that student that comes in and they're like, bam, off a nail right away. Do you notice their second nail? They don't do that.
That's true.
Yeah, and I think what's happening there is they bam off that nail because they're not thinking about it.
Yeah, they're not.
And then the second nail,
overanalyzing.
we've all oohed and awed, even people in the class. And then the second nail, they have to feel they have to live up to it.
Now the
and then,
pressure's on.
That's right. And then their second nail is not that good. So that's when I sort of notice that confidence just shoots right down. And then when I catch that, I just say, you know what, honey, just let it go. Just get rid of all the preconceived ideas of what you did on that second nail. Just let it go. Because that's what you did. That's why you did the first nail so good.
Right. And let's face it, you can take it off and start again. It's not like eyebrows. Once you wax them, they're gone.
Oh my
and
goodness.
hair
Could you imagine
too.
tattooing? And,
Oh my gosh,
so
no.
scary.
Nails is way less scary than
That's
that.
such a good point. Even hair color, like, oh, that's way too orange.
Yeah. Off to get a correction.
You wanted pink, right?
Yeah, totally.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good topic. Okay, next topic.
All right.
Social media is such a big part of all of our lives. It's really had a huge impact on my life, and I'm sure for you guys as
Absolutely,
well.
yeah.
But we also suffer negative comments. How do we handle negative feedback?
For me, it's kind of water off a duck's back, to use an old expression.
That is an old expression.
Yeah. Oh, we're old.
But I love it.
I was like, oh.
We're old.
The O
It's a
word.
good
Yeah,
expression.
it is. Yeah.
We're wise. We're not old.
That's
we're
right.
Wise.
92 years wise.
Yeah.
Like owls. Yeah.
And cheese.
And cheese.
I'm surprised you didn't say wine.
I was just going to go
Oh.
with the fine wine.
I was like,
That's what's in there. No, I'm just kidding.
hang on.
I get quite a few negative comments,
Yeah.
but not like comparison to some channel. My audience is actually really sweet and really open-minded and learning. But I do get some negative comments, and how we kind of handle them is if they are lashing out on someone else or swearing or rude or anything like that. We still let them have a form of expression, but if it is lashing on someone else, we do delete it. We don't have to delete very many at all, actually. No. We just don't want anybody to be offensive to anybody else. But I found even negative comments, like I had one person, I remember correctly, I can't remember exactly what they said, but they said, oh, Suzie, I love your channel, but blah, 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 whatever the comment was, I can't remember. And yeah, it kind of hurt a little bit. It also was a little bit true. And I think I messaged back and said, you're kind of right about that. I do have, let's say, the background sucks, or, I look chubby or whatever. Yeah, it may be a valid point. It's kind of rude the way you approached me, but it is kind of a valid point. And then I'll pipe up and say, you're right. I think I'm going to rethink that. And then they'll comment back and say, oh, Suzie, I didn't mean to be rude. And then so it sort of switched it around. And they're not really trying to be mean. Maybe they're just trying to be heard, but they can come off kind of rude sometimes. So, but that's what sort of how do we handle it.
But sometimes they don't mean to be rude.
No.
Like you say, they were just pointing out something
and if you talk to them, they
stood out to them.
Yeah, they come down a little, not thinking that I was actually reading. Yeah. I mean, I may not comment on every comment, but I do read a lot of them.
Well, it's always this little statement like, don't feed the trolls, because these are internet trolls. These are people who are looking for attention.
There are some people.
Sometimes, right?
Exactly.
My favorite, though, was when I was in New York with my son, and we had been traveling, and it was for part of our fall collection, and we did this great, he was graduating, and he's in theater. And so anyways, we had this great, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do this trip. And so we were traveling, and we missed a flight, and I mean, I had my hat on, and I mean, the hair was pulled up, there was no makeup on, but we were so excited. So we selfied in the taxi, as we almost died, because if you've ever been in a New York taxi, it was really scary. And then I posted it on my stories, because I had a whole story thing going on with our trip. And the next morning I get up, and there's this message in my messenger or whatever, right? And this lady's basically like, wow, did you cut your hair? It looks terrible. I can't believe you posted that picture. It made me sad.
I can't believe you posted that picture.
It made her sad. She was like, you were so pretty before. What did you do? Like this whole thing. And I'm sitting there, and I'm almost in tears, because I'm thinking, well,
do I look that
really
bad?
I was just, and my son looks over at me, he's like, Mom, you have a troll. You're famous.
This is exciting.
He was so excited, and I thought, okay, good way to flip it.
I've arrived.
Yeah.
Somebody knew who I was enough and cared enough to tell me I looked terrible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, what were you thinking?
Maybe she's trying to help you in her very odd little way.
So I did the same thing, though. I went back and I said, wow, you know what? Yeah, I did look really bad. But I was still lying, and I was just enjoying this trip with my son, and I'm really sorry if I upset you, so I'll really try to do better. And then she came back with the same thing. Oh, Cheryl, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. It just struck me as weird that you cut your hair or whatever. And every photo I posted after that, good or bad, she liked it and made a comment about how beautiful I looked. I was like,
it's true. Sometimes if they're rude like that, if you flip it, they become your best friend. That didn't work for me one time. A gentleman or a man commented and said, just, you're fat.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, he's kind of right. I am a little chubby. And then so I thought, I'll just message back and said, oh, hey, dude, you think I'm fat in this video? Check this video out. Because I looked particularly chubby in that one. What are you going to do? But I kind of think of it it's about nails.
Yeah.
It's not really about how fat Suzie is. It's really about, or how bad our hair looks that day. It really is about nails. So he was a little off topic. Yeah.
We're people.
Just like a little off topic. I like that.
Little off topic.
Little off topic.
I said that. I was like, I'm just a person. I'm a mom. I was on a plane.
That's how we can respond from now on. Please stay on topic.
Yeah, that's a good way to handle it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining me, girls. I really appreciate it. It's been a
for
lot of fun.
having us.
Every time we
really
get
fun.
together, we have so much fun.
We do.
And we'll do it again?
Absolutely.
Okay.
love to.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
See you guys. I hope you enjoyed that.
Bye.
Bye.